All right, we are live. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to This Weekend Loaded. All right, good evening, everybody. And, yeah, as I said, we are live. So, yeah, with us so far on the panel, we have Rob Deed and Eric Outcast. You there, Rob?
Yep.
How's your
Yep.
day been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Had kind of a headache with the newer washer, but got that all going. So um, yeah, just finished up making some chocolate chip cookies, so that always makes me happy. Uh, Other than that, a fairly relaxing day.
Cool. Let's see, out there in the YouTube chat so far, we had Kingpin, G23, Patriot in the Dark. So, evening, fellas, if you're still out there. Let's see. You can anybody who's seen the title, yeah, we're going to go over some myths that people have about the Constitution and whether those myths are true or not. So we'll see what people think on this situation. And for those out there, we do have a poll going asking, is the federal income tax constitutional? So far, we have 75% saying no, and 25% are saying yes. So we'll let that poll run until we get to that part of the conversation. First, oh, God, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in before you start and get too serious that I do think you know if you own sandals and Glocks, that's probably unconstitutional.
It may be. You know, we need an anti-hipster uh, constitutional amendment. Okay. Everybody talks about CZ being a hipster gun, but man, if you're wearing Glocks, if you're carrying a Glock and wearing sandals, you are the ultimate hipster. So that can't be allowed to stand.
Yep. And if you prefer AKs, that's definitely another point to the list there.
What are you trying to say, Rob? I personally like AKs better than the AR. So,
Oh,
but
I'm
then I
not.
don't I don't own any Glocks or sandals, so
I don't know, man. It's questionable. All right. Well, if you drive a Nissan Rogue, then it's unconstitutional.
G23 is countering with, is New York even part of the United States?
Definitely, definitely.
Kingpin says Croc 19. The puns. Kingpin's not even a dad as far as he knows, and he's out there making the dad jokes. But speaking of that kind of stuff, have you seen the new gun that SIG's coming out with in the P365 line?
No, not. I don't really follow Sig all that much, to be honest with you. So
They're going to be releasing a 17 round P365 with the slide that has the integral compensator on it.
it's cool, I guess. If you're into that.
And it's going to have the slide cut for an optic and whatnot. Interesting looking, and it has an actual pick rail and not that silly proprietary rail that they stole from HK. You look, and
Yeah, I'm not a fan of proprietary rails.
yeah, I mean, I can see why HK did it back in 1994 because there weren't really any set standards for rails at that point, right? So HK came up with something so that they could put the attachments on the USP. And that is exactly what SIG copied for the P365 instead of putting like a one slot pick rail on it. Makes no sense whatsoever. And we've been joined out there by Hillbilly Up. So evening to you.
I know SIG sells sights. Do they sell light attachments as well? Like that?
There are manufacturers that make a light for that rail, and I believe there is an adapter you can get to attach other lights. But that's the same thing you ran into with the USP. There were very few manufacturers that made one directly for the USP. You had to buy an attachment for it. HK and I think Streamlight are the only ones I've ever seen for the USP, for example.
Is that attachment made by SIG?
I think SIG marketed one. I don't know if they still have it, but I believe they were marketing one under their name.
Money ploy, and that's why they went with that, because then you got to buy their adapter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they thought that wouldn't catch as much if you were carrying it inside the pocket. Maybe that's another reason why they did it that way. Yes, they are. We already covered that, G23. They are using the standard pick rail on the P365X macro. So, yeah. It looks like an interesting pistol. Yeah. Micro.
So, not to get off topic too much, but what's the deal with SIG? I mean, are they? Where do they get the fan club they have at this point? I don't know. I
mean, the fact that the P series pistols, the P200 series pistols, were all very reliable guns. Basically, you started with the P210 and then worked your way up from there to the P220, the P226, P229, 227, 228. Those are all very reliable handguns. Specifically, the ones that were German made. Those things were rock solid. The Navy SEALs used the a version of the 226 they named it. They called it the Mark 25, and that was their standard issue for the Navy SEALs for years. In fact, when the SEALs were told by the federal government they had to switch to Glock, a lot of the SEALs refused to do so and kept their Mark 26 or Mark 25. Mark 25 and Mark 26, I forget off the top of my head. But anyway, they kept their SIGs and told them to keep the Glocks.
Yeah, like stuff like that I'm aware of, and that's what I'm wondering. Is it that has become the selling point with it, or I don't know. Is it just a reputation, or is it actually the performance? Because recently, a lot of people, I don't know much because I haven't messed with them, so I can't really speak for any person. But a lot of people say they got issues every time they come out with a gun now. So
well, they definitely had some growing pains with the 320 and the 365, which is why I waited a little bit till I got my 365 because basically people were still beta testing them when they were buying them. But if you get like a P210, that is one of, if not the most accurate 9mm. For years, that thing was the go-to high-end gun for competition shooters. But the problem with that was that it was a single stack, so people started moving to double stacks, and then you would go into like the CZ Shadow and things like that, which supplanted it. But at its time, the P210 was the gun you wanted for competition shooting if you could afford it. And the new rifle that the Army is switching to, that is also manufactured by SIG. Interesting to see how that works out. Kingpin says SIG makes a good 1911. G23 said the SIG MDX is a great looking rifle. And Kingpin also says the Scorpion is pretty sweet. Jason Stewart's out there. He says he's 15 minutes away from home. All right. And looking at the poll, so far we got 7 votes. 71% say no, it is not constitutional, and 29% say yes, it is. It'll be interesting to see what people's takes are on that here shortly. Because that is going to be one of the things we cover on this. Like I said, that's why I threw the poll out there. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure you get your vote in. You've got a few minutes yet to get your votes in on that poll, fellas, ladies, if there's any ladies out there watching. What did I miss? G23 said to let you know that Sig Sauer isn't for the poors of New York. I don't know. I didn't pay my P365. I paid about as much for my P365 as I did my M&P 2.0 compact. So I wouldn't say that. It depends on which Sig you're getting. Like if you're getting a Legion, yeah, those are not for the poors. But you can get a used 226, 229 for not that much money, and you get a P365, the base P365 for not that much money. Even a base P320 is not out of the realm of possibility for somebody.
No, I don't mind paying for quality, but I do mind overpaying per brand. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you get the 320, the 365. They're right in their price range with the Smith & Wesson M&P, Glock, the CZ P10 series. You know, those types of pistols. They're right in that same price ranges.
Yeah, I didn't recall them being too much, but just stating in general, yeah. Yeah. I don't need to spend $2,000 to feel comfortable with my EDC. You know what I mean? And in some cases, prefer not to because I'm gonna bump it on stuff and scrape it on stuff, and it's gonna get dirty and get lugged around, and maybe I'm gonna have to throw it on the ground if I use it and the police show up or this or that or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not meant to be a damn pinky ring or something. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think you need all that. And, in some cases, I don't think you need necessarily a bullseye target type pistol or necessarily race gun in a sense either, just, for statistic self-defense use. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just me. So
G23 says you'd be too scared to carry the SIG, that you should just stick with your M&P.
Too scared to carry it.
That's what he said. I don't know. Real quick, we've been joined out there by Defense Dad and Gizzard Gary. So evening, gentlemen.
Do the sights fall off like Glocks or something?
I don't know. The P320 was the first hammer-fired, striker-fired gun. Depending on who you asked, anyway. All right. Defense Dad has a question for you. So let me put this up on the screen. He says, okay, so the answer can't be your M&P. What is your idea of a barbecue gun that you would like to have? And he can give some BS that he has everything he needs. So if you're not familiar with barbecue gun, that would be a fancy gun that you would wear to show off at a barbecue, essentially.
Barbecue gun. My idea of a barbecue. I don't know. Honestly, I could see a nice 1911 as a barbecue gun. Something like that. Possibly a nice revolver. Uh, Something that stands out and yeah, looks nice. A show kind of a showpiece. That's where I could see where something maybe more expensive, but that's really it, and that's really just because it's a barbecue with those types of friends, and you'll have those types of conversations. But uh, other than that, depending on the barbecue and where, you might have to legally be concealed, and then you're gonna want something comfortable. So, so, so I don't know. Yeah, it depends on the barbecue, I guess, your state and all that. But I guess the stereotypic barbecue gun, I would say a nice 1911 would be what the first thing that comes to my mind.
Now, Defense Dad added the caveat: it has to be something that you would actually buy.
Very first personal handgun was a 1911.
So. Oh, there you go. So yeah, I can see that in 1911. You get a nice blue or
especially at work.
You get a nice blued or stainless 1911. Yeah, I could definitely see that as a barbecue gun. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that answer is wrong. So yeah, that's a good choice for a barbecue gun.
He probably thought I was gonna say a High Point, like that's bedazzled or something.
Yeah. No, that's a gun snob. With the red dot mounted on the side and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think barbecue gun, I don't think like technology, red dots, race gun type things. I think like art pieces more, functional art. But maybe, that's just my thinking of it.
Just throw my 2 cents in. The gun I would use on the ones that I have would probably be my Smith & Wesson 627. That stainless 8-round 357 Magnum revolver I have. But especially after I put the walnut grips on there, that thing is pretty. I think Kingpin's actually seen it in person. I don't remember if he did or if I wasn't able to get that because the wife had gone to bed and I was upstairs or something. I don't remember. I think he may have seen it in person. But that is a pretty gun. Let's see. How's the poll doing?
What was Defense Dad's idea of a barbecue gun then?
Yeah, Defense Dad, what would you carry as a barbecue gun? Right now, while we're waiting for him to answer, the poll is at 78% saying no and 22% saying yes. Kingpin says his barbecue gun would probably be his Ruger 1911. Good choice.
Well, Kingpin's got taste.
Gary says he paid a little over $400 for his barbecue gun. And Kingpin said if he was going to brunch, it would be his Shadow 2. Going to a hipster brunch, so you got to take your hipster pistol, Kingpin. Defense Dad says his would be a nice 1911 or a high power. Gary says his barbecue gun would be his Smith & Wesson 4006 TSW, the CHP pistol that him and a bunch of the guys bought a while back. So yeah, that would be a good choice too.
Well, seems like we all had the same idea of what the iconic barbecue gun is. Similar anyway.
Yeah, notice none of us picked the polymer Wonder 9. We're all like going with 1911s or revolvers or something along those lines. They're all metal guns. We've all picked a metal gun. No,
Right.
G23 has to ruin it and say his judge.
And say, yeah, he try to class it up a little bit.
The poll is now at 70-30, 7 no winning on that. And then he went with a polymer gun, the SP-2022. Oh my God. Kingpin said his backup will be a chrome nuclear warhead. Can you get a tax stamp on one of those?
Shit, tax stamp. You're funny.
Comes Gary. Evening, Gary.
What's up?
Yeah, not much. Nothing's really changed since this morning, anyway.
I guess that's right.
How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Rob?
Not bad.
Yeah, got to go with the all-metal guns for barbecue. Something
Yeah.
shiny.
Yeah,
Something...
it can't be a polymer.
And of course, it's the one that Ozzy made me a holster for, too, obviously. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, Kingpin says he'll get Ozzy to make him a holster for that nuclear warhead.
Yeah, you absolutely have to have that. But yeah, something old school, nice and shiny metal, preferably something that shoots, 40 Smith & Wesson or, bigger.
What would you guys think about a nice shiny Beretta? Because Jason's probably going to pop in here. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah. Get a
like
nice
an Inox or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. One of the Wilson Combat or one of the Nighthawk Langdon Arms. I mean, yeah, you get some decent Model 92s out there.
Yeah.
Even the Gerson there, the Gerson Regard, they're a copy of the 92. You get some really nice looking ones of those too out there. So, yeah, that type of firearm could definitely be used as a barbecue gun.
I'm just trying to keep mine American. But
Caltech F9.
I don't think any Caltech qualifies as barbecue gun.
Wow.
Well, you could use it to help level the grill if you needed to. No, just kidding.
Well, you could do that with a high point. You could use the high point to assemble the grill. You need a hammer? Here's a high point. I don't got a hammer, but here's a high point.
That's funny. I was actually looking at those for a long time ago. And then, thankfully I did some research and was like, yeah, I'm not going to take a chance. So I did hear if you get a good one, they run, but I don't know. But I can't remember what generation that was or whatever. But it seemed like too much risk.
Well, high points run.
No, that Caltech PF9, I believe I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I would trust a high point to run. So, but like I said, those PF9s from what I heard were hit or miss. So,
oh, excuse me. Hibbo Yup says, all joking aside, his barbecue gun would be a Smith & Wesson 357 long barrel revolver and a shorter holster. Says it's always a big hit. Which model? Is that a 1966, 28, 628? 627, 27? Do you know which model? Which model 357 is it? Not that they're not all decent. Just curious which model.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Defense Star says the Tanfolio Defiant would be a snazzy barbecue gun. Yeah, Tanfolio made some decent guns. It's a shame that they're not being imported by EAA anymore because of the lockdown that was going on in Italy and they just couldn't get supply.
we think about one of them old, like, old revolvers. I don't know, like the Walkers or whatever. The regular, uh, center fire cartridge or whatever. But like the old style cowboy rigs.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I could see people carrying that to a barbecue, especially if you're like in Texas. Those old school guns, yeah, I can see those being a barbecue gun.
Hip or shoulder holster.
If you're carrying a cowboy gun, it's got to be hip holster. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were shoulder holster rigs in the West. You would see a lot of old gamblers and stuff carrying like the pocket-sized guns in a shoulder holster rig. So it would be possible, but the bigger ones, yeah, those would definitely be on a hip holster. Your ladies out there, Rob.
Oh no.
Evening, ma'am.
You're in trouble.
We're up to 11 votes now. We got 73% saying no and 27% saying yes.
Not here.
She said you were flipping her off, so she figured she'd stop in. Now, you wouldn't do something like that, would you, Rob?
I can't imagine.
That's just ridiculous. It's ludicrous. What?
He's a gentleman.
That's defamation of character.
Did you say definition or defamation?
Yeah, take your pick. Either one would apply. So, are we ready to get on to our topic, or do you want to bullshit that guns some more? I mean, let you guys decide.
Is Jason coming in?
Oh, you want to wait for Jason? We can wait for Jason. I got no problem with that.
For 15 minutes. I just figured you were, because it seemed like you were bullshitting. So, if that's the case, if he's almost there, might as well hold off a minute for him. But it don't matter to me. I mean, yeah, it's your show. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Hibley says he couldn't find a number on it. It should, when you drop the cylinder out, it should be right there on the inside of the frame where the what the hell do they call that part? The part that the cylinder connects to. I can't remember the technical name for it right now. But where that drops down right in there is usually where they put the markings that say what model number it is on a Smith & Wesson. Yeah, the crane. So I think
the crane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillbilly got guns and you don't even know what the heck they are.
Yeah, basically, that's what it seems like. Yeah, he knows it's a Smith & Wesson in 357. He just doesn't know what model.
It's a gun. It goes bang.
I think that's probably the one I forgot when I was hanging out over at his place. But yeah, we had drinking. I forgot about saying something. So if it just popped up, I'm pretty sure that's mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So you. Well, excuse me. Damn. You trying to claim that you left the revolver somewhere? Man, you're too cheap to leave a gun somewhere. You'd have that thing lashed to your leg and nobody could take it.
And to pay that much for a revolver.
Yeah, that too. The Smith & Wesson revolvers aren't cheap.
Although it's his brand.
Rob's brand is M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P. You get into the revolvers, they cost too much. You'd never buy one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that CHP pistol is the only Smith & Wesson I own, believe it or not. But it's nice.
I have a handful of Smith & Wessons.
And it is heavy.
Wonder what's heavier, that or my 627. That 627 isn't light either. G23 says if it costs more than $5, he'll be crying. I think Rob has some guns that cost more than $5, G23, so I wouldn't go that far.
And there's always coupons, man.
Hey, you know, Smith & Wesson every so often has that military discount thing that they have going on, you know, the military rebate and whatnot. So, you know. I think when I got my 627 or my, or was that the Easy that they had one of those going on when I bought it? It was one of them. I got $25 back from Smith & Wesson.
656 or 686.
686. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, when you look at Smith & Wesson and 357 revolver, there is a bunch of them. They make all kinds of 357 revolvers. I didn't even cover
track them.
Yeah, I listed a good deal of them, and that one I think I may have gotten maybe half of them. So speaking of Jason, there he is. How you tonight, Jason?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. How you guys doing?
Hey, Jason.
Not too bad.
Hey, Gizzard. Hey, Rob.
Hey, man. Your Beretta's passable for a barbecue gun, just so you know. According to the crowd.
Yeah. And I got the boots to match.
Looking at the poll, we got about 2/3 saying no and 1/3 saying yes, that it is constitutional. That's with 12 votes. So you got a couple minutes yet, folks. If you haven't gotten your answer in for the poll yet, get it in now, because we're getting ready to end it here soon.
Vote early, vote often.
So what would your barbecue gun be, Jason? I didn't notice if you put one out there in the chat or not. So what would yours be?
Oh, nice 1911. Or a Beretta with some nice grips on it. You know, you got to have a nice holster to go with a nice gun, too, for the barbecue. So.
Yep.
So anything will work that's got some pretty grips on it. Really didn't matter what it is.
Defense Dad says he sent me an email, but so far it seems like the consensus is a nice 1911 for the most part. That's what most people are saying. So what did Defense Dad send me? Send me a picture of what his barbecue gun would look like in the near future. So let's
Yeah, I just need to get invited to a barbecue. We'll have it made.
Yeah, right.
Now, what if this barbecue was, I don't know, in the middle of like Chicago or something?
Well, you definitely have to have a gun. Something in full auto may be better. So here.
Is that the park in town by the basketball courts?
I stand with my answer. But here's what Defense Dad said his barbecue gun will look like shortly. A nice 1911 with some nice grips and a maglow on it. There you go. Especially if that's got like a nice bluing on it.
That's the perfect tool if you need to speed load during a family barbecue.
Yep. Yeah.
You just never know.
It's nice.
You do not. You never know.
It's
You
nice.
don't know when trouble's coming.
It might be a little too much though.
Rob, you're
Out in the silver. Like, not saying that there shouldn't be a magwell, but it's like a lot of the silver color.
Yeah,
Out
it's just more.
like-
That's more to catch your attention, Rob. It says,
Yeah, but
"I'm a
it's,
man not to be messed with."
it's almost like those people that put too much trim on their car. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's nice though. I ain't so. Yeah, maybe it's just my preference, but it looks like just a touch too much. Like that bottom piece is just too much.
yeah.
Well, that's kind of how race guns go, Rob. You go overboard with the colors and the anodizing, and you go overboard because you can, you know.
Yeah, defense staff said was reached out to by the company that makes those grips and asked him if he wanted to review more of their stuff. So cool. And Abby's joined us out there. So evening, Abby.
Abby.
And Misfit said this system is more secure than the federal system. It only let her vote once. So, yeah. I guess on that note, and since Jason's here, we can get on with our topic. Myths about the Constitution. Things people think are or aren't Constitution, and may surprise you what the truth actually is on that. So we're going to end this poll. If you haven't got a chance to vote yet, well, you're too late. So we're going to end that poll. And we're at 71% say no and 28% say yes. So real quick, we'll go with the audience out there had their chance to speak. We'll go around the horn here. And Jason, what do you think? Federal income tax, constitutional or unconstitutional?
Yeah, I think it's constitutional.
All right. Rob?
Oh, most definitely.
Gary?
As it is being applied today, it is unconstitutional.
All right. Now, the answer to that is, are you all ready? I know there's going to be 71% of the people that are going to be very surprised by this. The federal income tax is 100% constitutional. For a few reasons. One of the main arguments you hear, and I got the Constitution pulled up here, so let me screen share this. One of the reasons you hear is because it has the word individual in it, that somehow that means that it is a direct tax. That is not the definition of a direct tax. And I got to scroll down and find it. I had it here a minute ago. It shifted on me. All right. So what they're saying, this is what they're basing it on. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. That does not apply to the federal income tax, folks. I hate to break it to you. It does not. The no capitation, the taxes that does apply to, and why it was determined to be unconstitutional, is the poll tax. That would be one that would apply to. Other direct taxes, okay, are ones that are directed at a specific individual. And yes, you would have that quite often. The British, in particular, use that as a way of penalizing somebody. For example, if somebody were found not guilty of a crime in the courts, Parliament could, as well as could local governments, impose a tax on a specific person as a means of taking punitive action against that person. Which is why further down in here it also states that Congress cannot penalize people. So under that clause of the Constitution, yes, the income tax is constitutional. And second, even if that would apply to the income tax, the federal income tax was passed as an amendment to the Constitution, which is how we changed the Constitution, is through the amendment process. Therefore, even if that clause applied prior to the passage of the amendment that instituted the federal income tax, the federal income tax would still be constitutional because it would override that clause. So, yes, while we may not like it, we may not agree with it, the federal income tax is 100% constitutional.
Who started federal income tax? Was it George Washington? Or was it Jefferson?
No, that the federal income tax started in. Oh man, now you got me on spot. It's late 19th, early 20th century. I forget the year exactly. But there were federal income taxes before that. But the current one was started during the progressive period.
Yeah, well, I'm ready to go back to the old days.
And Abby saying, well, just because it's constitution doesn't make it not extortion. There's one problem with that too. The Constitution expressly gives Congress the ability to lay taxes, so therefore taxes are legal. It is not extortion.
Bunch of crap, man. Where's the representation for these taxes?
How come we can't tax the government?
Because we're not the government. The government has the means to lay taxes, not the individual people.
We the people, buddy. For the people, by the people.
That's why you elect your House of Representatives. Originally, you weren't supposed to elect the Senate. The Senate was supposed to be chosen by the members of the individual state legislations. Or legislators, rather. But that got changed also during the Progressive era. And shortly after that is when the federal income tax was implemented. So, yeah, there's all that. But taxes are imposed by Congress are legal and constitutional, as is the federal income tax. So,
I didn't know you were making this a depressing show.
yeah, whether we like it or not, that's just how it is. Now, next myth about the Constitution, we'll send this one around the horn. I'm not going to do a poll for this one. A standing army. Is a standing army constitutional? Jason, what do you think?
Yes.
All right. Rob?
That's a tough one. Is it constitutional?
Yes. Is it constitutional to have a standing army?
I'll say yeah.
Right. Gary?
I say yes.
Right. The correct answer. Bring back up the screen share here in a second. Who is text?
Are you getting these answers from Google?
No, I'm going right to the U.S. Constitution in and of itself.
Okay.
All right. The answer is yes, a standing army is constitutional. I don't know how many times I've heard people say that the standing army is unconstitutional. That the Constitution only says that the Congress can maintain a navy. That is not correct. The Congress has the power to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for longer than a term of 2 years, which is why every 2 years you will see in Congress that they will have an appropriations bill for spending on the military. So yes, the standing army is 100% constitutional. Abby says the founders warned against standing armies, and yet they had one. There's been a standing army since the American Revolution.
Kingpin says, what about a sitting army? That'd be the Air Force, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And the Marines will be the swimming army. Misfit Starling says the militia is constitutional. Yes, the militia is constitutional.
Is it okay to cheat?
To cheat in what way? It's not a test.
If I use the text, and I use the text teacher.
You can use the Constitution to answer if you want. I mean, you're doing more than what some of these people that say this is this and this is that in the Constitution without actually looking at the text. You know, like half of Congress.
Figured since I already got one wrong, I better start reading.
It's not cheating, it's research, Kingpin. This isn't a test.
Well, this is probably worth some money. It's got George Washington's signature on the back of it. Look at that.
Wow. Let's see. What's another one we can look at? Those are the two main ones that you always hear people. Well, this. No. One that would probably cause lots of argumentation.
Oh, what about the one about mayonnaise? Because I'm Kingpin.
Yeah, I don't think that works that way. Oh, I got one. According to the Constitution, is the bill that has just passed the Senate and is heading to the House, which increases the number of IRS agents, is that constitutional? Yes or no? Jason, is that constitutional?
Did you say me?
Yes.
I'm gonna say no, it's not.
Rob?
The hairs and roaches on my leg.
Damn, your hair smells good.
Okay, so Rob has gone full Joe Biden on us.
Need help putting your coat on, Rob?
I'll be right here. Yeah, you ran. Sorry. Yeah, it probably is.
All right, Gary, what do you say?
Sure, why not?
The answer is per facie, no, it is not constitutional. The reason being, it is a revenue bill. Section 7 of Article 1 states all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. Ergo, a bill which increases taxes, which that bill does, has to originate in the House of Representatives. On its face, that bill is unconstitutional because it originated in the Senate. In other words, we got him on that one on a technicality.
Shit, it's too late. They already got like the want ads out.
This very part right here is why Obamacare should have been ruled unconstitutional, because that also originated in the House. And if you remember, they changed the penalty into a tax in the Supreme Court. Therefore, that bill is unconstitutional because it was a revenue bill that originated in the Senate and not the House of Representatives. So essentially, any revenue raising bill that's originated in the Senate can technically be declared unconstitutional based on Section 7 of Article 1, Paragraph 1. So, yep. Anybody else have any myths that they want to talk about? Any that they can think of? Or any claims that people make about the Constitution in general?
I heard somebody say when the Second Amendment was created, you wasn't allowed to have a cannon.
Well, you know what? There's writings from both James Madison and Thomas Jefferson that completely contradict that, as well as the Federalist Papers and all that. At separate times in history, Madison and Jefferson were both essentially asked by the same question by two different shipping magnates about whether or not they could arm their ships to protect them against pirates, specifically the Muslim pirates operating out in North Africa. And in both cases, the president wrote back to those personages and told them that, yes, under the Second Amendment, you absolutely have the right to put cannon on your ships for their self-defense.
Yeah, I knew that old man was wrong.
Now, I've heard some people say that the states do not have to concur and ratify a constitutional amendment for it to become official. True or false? Do the states have to ratify the constitutional amendments? Jason, what do you say?
Yes, they do.
Gary?
You ask me these questions before I have a chance to look up the answer, man. I believe they do, yeah.
Rob?
Sure.
Yes, the answer is true. All constitutional amendments have to be approved by 2/3 of the states, which is the same number of members of the Senate and House that have to approve of them before they can be ratified. Now, does the president have veto power over a constitutional amendment? Jason, what do you think?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say no on that one.
All right. Gary, what do you think?
No.
All right. Rob?
I'd say no, but he'd probably get around it with some type of emergency order or something.
The president has no say whatsoever in the amendment process. So the answer is no. He does not have veto power over the amending of the Constitution. Now, all constitutional amendments have to start in the U.S. Congress. True or false? Jason?
False.
Gary?
False.
Rob? Rob's too busy eating chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, sorry. I thought I hit the button. False.
Yes, that is false. What is the other way that they can be amended?
Constitutional
The Convention of
Convention.
States.
Yes, Convention of States, State Convention, which they are trying to get one started. They have, you have to have like 60% of the states.
2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. They have, God, I forget how many now. They're close. I think they said they need 15 states, I think, still. But they're getting closer. So,
For what?
Convention of States. They're trying to get a Convention of States going, specifically to address Second Amendment issues and things along those lines, that to try and rein in the federal government on it.
Oh, it's not about abortion?
No. When you call the convention, when you're going around to the states, you have to state what the topic of discussion is going to be for the Constitutional Convention.
Don't the states have like 7 years to think about it or something?
Well, they can keep proposing to bring up, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, they're attempting to get one of those going right now, which would be interesting to see what happens if they do. Because remember, you still would need 2/3 of the states, and I don't know if you're going to get 2/3 of the states to ratify anything that would come out of the convention.
And that's not anything new. That movement has been going on for quite a while now.
Yeah. You got states like California, New York, Maryland, New Jersey, Connecticut, Illinois, Minnesota, all the blue states. Said there's really no saying if those guys are ever going to vote to ratify anything that's pro Second Amendment. Let's put it that way. I'm trying to think of something else. Like I said, I already covered the main two I wanted to go over. I mean, there's some obvious one, but I didn't really want to touch on amendments, just the main branch of the Constitution itself. True or false? There is only one crime mentioned by name in the Constitution. Jason, true or false? One crime by name mentioned in the Constitution.
One crime. I'll say that's true.
All right. Gary, what do you think?
It's probably true.
Rob?
Yeah, I'd go with true. I don't really remember a list of crimes.
Yes, that is true. There is only one crime specifically listed by name in the Constitution, and that is treason. That is the one crime listed. And Kingpin's like, what, church and state? Yeah, we're not going. I didn't want to touch on the amendments. We're just going with the main body of the Constitution in and of itself, Kingpin. We can do amendments some other time because there's a lot of myths and stuff that people don't understand about those too. So, yeah, Guns and Barbecue says yes, and it's treason. So, yep, Travis T said treason, and your lady's heading out. Rob says she has to be up early.
She's gonna
Good
get up
night.
and cook breakfast and or biscuits and gravy, or
She's got to serve Rob breakfast in bed, I guess.
there
I
you
don't
go.
know. Is it Rob's birthday tomorrow or something? Rob's not commenting.
Nope, he's not.
No, I'm not. No comment.
No comment. Yeah, see, Rob is trying to stay out of the doghouse. Unlike Snob, who just digs the hole deeper. Let's see what else can we?
Not liking mac and cheese is borderline unconstitutional.
Are you trying to get Rick deported?
Sounds like it.
Oh, I'm just saying. He could be a British spy.
It could be a double agent.
0017. Yeah. So you got a backup topic list?
Backup topic list. I'm trying to think here.
Like burn through that quick.
Yeah, there was like I said, there were a couple of main ones. I was hoping somebody else would have had some that they could have come up with.
Kingpin wants to know, when do we start talking trash about gun channels? Oh.
That was last week, wasn't it? Was that the week before? That was supposed to be last week, and then we ended up talking about lead all night.
We could talk about chicken fried steak and how it's just the most American thing in the world to cook chicken fried steak.
Yeah, it's good and it's easy to do.
That's right. Every American should know how to cook chicken fried steak.
I got another one. We hear people all the time talking about how it was constitutional for the states and the Confederacy to get together before they seceded from the Union. Is that true or is it false? Was that constitutional or was that unconstitutional? Jason, what do you think?
I don't understand the question.
Me
For the
either.
states to organize and decide to succeed?
Yes. Was that legal for them to enter into a confederation before seceding from the Union?
No.
Okay, Jason says unconstitutional. Gary?
I agree.
Rob?
I'll say yes.
Okay, so Rob says it was constitutional. All right. According to Article 10 of the Constitution, or Section 10, it's Article 1, Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. So, no, it was not constitutional for the southern states to do what they did. I can imagine Squib's head exploding right now.
Well, the very act of doing that is conspiracy against the government, the Union, right?
Yep. Also, when the states were printing their own money, that also, in that same section, if you notice there on the screen, was also unconstitutional. For those of you who are wondering, when I talked earlier about the individual tax that they would use as a punitive action. That would also be known as the Bill of Attainder, which is what it's talking about there. Bills of Attainders were ways that various levels of legislators would choose to penalize people if they couldn't get a conviction in court. And it was very common practice in Europe at the time. Specifically the UK, they did that a lot, which is why the founders specifically in multiple sections said, no, you can't do that.
But now in modern days, there's a new meaning behind penalized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in San Francisco.
Especially in Washington.
Yeah, that too. Or Greenwich Village in New York. Let's see. They're asking about the hens patches. I think the only one I got's Gary's. I haven't gotten Snobs yet, even though he keeps saying he's going to send one. I don't have one of Sarge's, I don't think, and I don't think I have Obnoxious's either.
I do.
Of course you do. That goes without saying. I mean, you're one of them. I hope you would have all four.
I think I was handed each one of them personally.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, Snob and I didn't even have any. The only reason I had patches made was Snob got a hold of this company to make his, and then he passed it on to me what kind of deal it was. So I contacted him. They did the same thing for me. So I passed it on to Road Call, and now he's having patches made.
I was going to try to make a patch, but Beretta and Colt both copyrighted me.
Copyright laws are a bitch.
Rich's design is going to be kind of tough to make a patch out.
Yeah, I know. So I've been trying to come up with something new, and I just can't come up with anything. And I'm scared to let Ghost do it. He said he would do something like with a Monopoly Man or something, and that's not what I'm looking for.
Well, if you got a design in mind, I could make you something.
Well, I've done that kind of stuff myself. I mean, I got a bunch of pictures on my computer and stuff where I've done things like that. But I just don't know what exactly I want. So that's the problem.
I know Travis T mentioned this morning that he's thinking about changing his channel name.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. That was before I had to bail out. Wife needed help with the laundry and stuff, and with her not being able to really lift anything, carry things up and down the stairs, I was yep, I'm the only one up, so I get to help carry the laundry up and down the stairs. Even though I'm not supposed to be lifting a whole lot either, but laundry doesn't weigh a whole bunch, so I was able to help her with that. After that, I end up passing out, so I mean, my sleep's all a mess because her sleep's all a mess. You know how that goes, Gary.
Yeah.
You know, you've been married. Your wife's sleep gets off and your sleep gets off because you share a bed and everything, and them getting in and out of bed and whatnot. That just, every time they get out of bed, you get woke up.
Sleep schedule being single.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Squib, there he is.
Yep.
Hey, Squib.
What's up?
Budget just get done?
We stayed on afterward to shoot the shit.
Okay. Hillbilly Up says, surely it's not constitutional to wear skinny jeans and drink hard seltzer. I think that would go in the provision that we're trying to get passed against shit. I'm drawing a blank now. Hipsters. Yeah, that would definitely fall into the anti-hipster
Unreasonable dress and lifestyles at the closet.
But would that bring about a new way to do things? They call it hipster carry.
Well, so far we got in the bill. We're going to have unconstitutional wear skinny jeans and drink hard seltzer at the same time, and carry a Glock while wearing sandals.
Oh, that would be hipster carry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they need to do something, man. We got to have just common decency laws.
Yeah, Travis T throws out there, and the possibility of having a beard and wearing skinny jeans at the same time should as well be added to that amendment. So, all in favor, say aye.
What was the amendment?
To add that having a beard and skinny jeans is also unconstitutional, added to the anti-hipster amendment.
I think we have to vote on it before we can actually read what's in it.
No, because we're not actually Congress. We're filling the role of the state.
Hey, I'm fat. All my jeans are skinny jeans.
No, we're talking about the ones that are tight, like the skins on a sausage, Gary.
G23 says y'all are pro gun control. Where'd that come from?
The fact that he wears sandals and carries a Glock.
Oh. I'm very much in favor of gun control. You should keep your damn hands on your gun and control that thing. You shouldn't just let it flop around.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if I want to open carry while wearing sandals, it's got to be with a Glock in order to fit in?
It can't be with a Glock.
Oh, but I could say like 1911. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good with a 1911.
Now, what about water shoes? Do those classify as sandals?
No, you get a buy on a technicality with those.
Okay. All right.
The main issue is just having a Glock in public.
Can we ban pajamas in public too?
I think there might be a weight limit on that.
No use of being cruel to the people.
Now, if they were going to conceal carry with pajamas, they'd have to have a belly band or something, because they ain't holding up nothing. Somebody's going to invent steel core waist pajamas.
God.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be concealed carry or anything, just pajamas in general in public.
No, G23. We're banning the outfit worn while carrying the firearm. We're not banning a firearm. We are specifically stating that you cannot wear sandals and carry a Glock at the same time. We're not saying you can't own a Glock. We're not saying you can't have sandals. We're saying you cannot be in possession of both, as in having the sandals on your feet and the pistol on your hip at the same time. That's right out.
We'll put in a stipulation. Jammy pants is okay as long as it's before 11 a.m. and we're dealing with like a gas station or Walmart or something like that. But like in the rest of the general public, that should be indecent. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I got another proposal for a new constitutional amendment. No wearing yoga pants to Walmart if you're above 150 pounds, and also no wearing a crop top if you're above 150 pounds.
I think there needs to be an age in there as well, if you're over a certain age.
Hey, 150 is a pretty low number, Rich.
I'm well aware.
In any of these laws, is there any room for pork barrel?
Well, you don't see a whole lot of pork barrel in the Constitution in and of itself.
Oh, these are amendments or these are federal laws?
No, these are amendments.
We're amending crap.
The Constitution.
Oh, man, that's what I get for missing staff meetings.
No, that's G23. You're missing the point. That's not gun control. That's G23 control.
You know, there ought to be an amendment that you can't put a 5-inch round muffler on a Honda.
And remember, G23, that amendment was proposed by Rob. So, you know.
Oh, did that affect G23? Oh, I'm sorry.
Ozzy proposes having it where you have to have a license to wear spandex.
You need a background check, dude. Spandex.
That's funny.
Yeah, Travis T thinks that we may be getting a little racist as it affects communities of color disproportionately.
Yeah, man. Oh, you guys want to ban jammy pants and shit. What's wrong with you? Fucking racist.
Oh, I'm totally with the jammy pants. I think the 150 pounds might be a little off, but yeah, the jammy pants that's got to go, man. Like, yeah, it's not uncommon to look out the window and see a chick walking down the street thinking she's the shit, wearing pajama pants and like flip flops and freaking a hair net thing on and shit. Like, look like shit. Like, yeah, you would think you would be embarrassed to go out of the house not like that, or out, looking like that, not out yelling and singing and on your phone advertising to the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, I almost got sick to my stomach. Well, I did get sick. That my stomach was queasy. I almost vomited last time we went to Sam's Club up in Pittsburgh. There was this woman. She had to have weighed every bit of 350 pounds, wearing yoga pants and a crop top. Oh,
You get for shopping at Walmart, man.
Where did you
Walmart,
go?
it was Sam's Club.
SeaWorld?
Yeah, it burns me every time. I still go back because of the prices, but man, Walmart and Sam's Club, it's there's usually a story every trip.
Yeah. A lot of those clothes I think are horrible for kids and stuff. They're like wicked thin and damn near see through half this shit. It's so damn cheap.
No, Moo says that was actually him. Well, it couldn't have been you, Moo, because the lady didn't have a beard.
Man, they make shit cheaper for Walmart. I mean, there's probably a bunch of examples, but I can tell you just what I've ran into lately. Like, if I buy a pair of Wrangler jeans from Walmart, I'll tear them up. They'll rip up. I'll rip the back pockets, the crotch, the knees will wear out real quick. But I could buy Wrangler jeans at like Tractor Supply.
Yep, that's why I bought mine.
And I'll get them for they'll last a year, 2 or more, or something. Maybe rip out at the the very bottom cuffs, from scuffing on the ground or whatever. But yeah, the ones from Walmart are like thin, or the threads aren't as strong, or something, man.
Well,
There's something different.
Yeah, the reason being, the ones you're buying at Walmart are their fashion jeans, whereas the ones you get at Tractor Supply are the working jeans. So that's what it is. If you go to one of the Tractor Supply around here, they also have Levi's. You get those Levi's. They're like the old ones we used to buy in the 80s. Whereas if you go someplace that's like Target has Levi's now, you go to Target and buy Levi's there, they're that thin fashion jean material and they just fall apart super quick.
Yeah, the denim weight's lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw a lot of that stretch material and all that other shit into them. So, yeah, I've been buying pants lately from Tractor Supply myself. So, Carhartt's there pretty decent. So, I mean, it's not cheap. Nothing's cheap, but yeah, they actually last. And if you snag on something, it doesn't rip right out like the Walmart jeans.
You know if they've got the fleece line Carhartts there in the winter? I've been looking for those.
Tractor Supply.
Yeah. I've only been in a Tractor Supply once ever.
The one here does. They get the Carhartt jackets with the lining too.
Yeah, I've been looking for the fleece line Carhartt Carpenter jeans. Every now and then I'll find them online, but I never order them. I never thought about looking at Tractor Supply. Thanks for the tip, guys.
And Wrangler does fleece line as well, and Eddie Bauer, they do like a flannel fleece line. So I'm sure lots of companies do, but those are a few I can think of top of my head.
Those would come in handy for deer hunting.
I love those. That's what I wear in the winter a lot of times for work or anything like that. I wear the fleece line pants because when it's really cold, it I don't know, it saves you from having to mess with a layer. But honestly, I think they work like better than a regular set of thermals or whatever. So, but like I said, when it's really cold, you can double, triple up, and it's kind of like cheating because your pants are a layer too. So makes it a lot more comfortable. It's one less layer you feel, I guess. But they work well.
G23 is saying that Dickies are better than Carhartt.
I've owned both. I don't
know. I don't know. I guess they're about the same to me. I know Dickies boots suck.
Gonna say I've probably had better experience with Carhartt than Dickies, but just me personally.
Hey, now that's getting too personal there, Moo. G23 is saying that based on Second Amendment support. So did Carhartt come out and do something against the Second Amendment that I wasn't aware of, or maybe forgot?
Oh, geez, man. Every clothing company's anti-Second Amendment. If you went on those lines, you'd be naked, man.
I don't know, man, because the Wrangler has that stretch waistband that they say is specifically for like concealed carry and stuff in their jeans. And their cargo shorts and stuff.
Oh, well, that's good to know from Wrangler.
But you can take this stuff to the nth degree. Do you know your underwear company? Do they support the Second Amendment or not? Well, it's free to the loom stand,
Well, I wear Hanes, so I don't know.
Well, all your clothes.
You're an American now, yeah.
Yeah, all your clothes is made China or someplace, man.
Pretty
so
much.
That just tells you right there.
Yeah, a lot of them are. It's kind of hard to find American-made stuff. I like Duluth Trading. No pinch, no stink, no sweat.
I just had a 50% off coupon from Beretta. I was looking. They got nice outdoor clothes, nice shooting clothes. A little expensive, but at half price. They puts it down to normal. But about everything I looked at, they didn't have my size and stuff. So that kind of sucked.
Now, Kingpin says on Fruit of the Loom, the grapes and apple are 2A, but the rest of them are suspect.
I used to work at Hanes. I ran a diesel fitter.
So what kind of underwear did our founding fathers wear?
I got a question for Jason Stewart.
Hemp.
Hey, you worked at Hanes.
Yeah.
Did you know Inspector 12?
No, we didn't have inspector numbers. I worked there 11 years, man. Ran a diesel fitter. You're not going to ask what a diesel fitter is?
No. But I'm sure you're going to enlighten us.
Okay, yeah, I ran a diesel fitter. The panties would come down the line, and I would grab a sample, and I'd stretch it over top of my head, and I'd say diesel fitter.
Oh, jeez.
Had to ask.
No, I did work for a place called Haynes, but it didn't have anything to do with undergarments or anything.
I'm sure at one point they were made here in America and they just moved overseas. I don't think there's any underwear made in America except maybe whoever does the contract underwear for the military. Uh, there's obviously lots of sock companies. Just watch my videos, but I haven't seen any American underwear companies.
Well, I remember Haynes was on the big news, like a 60 Minutes show or something. Oh, shit, 20 years ago. And I don't know about all their products, but this division was like the T-shirt division or whatever. It was a small town, like out in the middle of nowhere, and that was like the main employer for the town. I mean, generations of people had worked there at the Haynes factory, and it was the whole lifeblood of that town. They closed it down and shipped it overseas over 4 cents per shirt. Not even a nickel per shirt. 4 cents.
Yep.
And they destroyed that whole town, all the families, people's livelihoods, over 4 cents. They couldn't just raise the price of a t-shirt 4 cents and nobody even noticed, but they chose to screw the American people and the workers that had worked for them for years to go overseas for less than a nickel a shirt.
They hired somebody to go through and try to figure out where they could cut costs. And they did all the number crunching and did the traveling and looked into this and looked into that and made the presentations, maybe even skewed the numbers some, and said, if we just move it overseas, we'll save and over this many years, you'll make this much money and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, do it. So really, you could vilify the execs who are that type that they all want as much money as they can get. They don't care about America. They don't care about the American worker and stuff. But what about these people who get paid? They make a living crunching the numbers and making these BS graphs and charts and holding these meetings. And how much do they, where I used to work, I remember the people that did that. Those were all 6-figure people and they had expense accounts and everything else. Okay. The amount of money that you pay them, not just in their salary and benefits and everything, but all they cost the company, taking up space and spending money to schmooze people and travel and right there's an expense. Instead of paying somebody and all this, just keep the business and it's a wash. But nope, there's somebody out there who makes a living trying to get rid of your job. One person to get rid of 50 or 500 or 5,000. Those people should be ashamed of themselves.
Real quick, I want to say hi to the Scottish American, if he's still out there. Evening to you, sir. And Travis T said that there are no electric company, no theme parks, no mortgage companies, no solar companies, etc., that are not anti-gun. On the mortgage company front, look local. There is a local mortgage company here where the owner of the business carries a firearm with her every day at work and doesn't care if you carry a firearm into her place of business. So with the large companies that are like Bank of America and stuff like that, yeah, that would be true. But look at your small mom and pop local mortgage companies and you may see different.
That's because the mortgage companies don't need a gun to rob you.
Yeah, sadly, that's kind of true. And I am tired. Again, her sleep being messed up because of having surgery has my sleep all messed up. Well, what else we got to talk about?
So everything went fine with the surgery then.
Yes, everything went fine. They weren't sure if they were going to have to keep her overnight the first night because the swelling, she was having trouble using the bathroom because, put pressure on her bladder and stuff, and there was some swelling there. And they didn't know if they were going to have to catheterize her or not, but they decided no, they'll send her home with it. Came down to it, she could use a self-catheterization. They just wanted her to keep an eye on the amount that was still in her bladder after going. But after she started going and stuff, she was fine after that. So she didn't even have to use those catheters that they sent home with her. So yeah, no complications or anything. She hasn't had any kind of bleeding or anything. So yeah, she's doing well. I mean, she's still sore. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's to be expected with abdominal surgeries, But yeah, I mean, everything went good.
So it was considered outpatient?
Yeah. Moose says that I was right about the local mortgage company. He says his hosts range days at the local gun range. So yeah, I mean, just because the national companies are like that. I mean, if you want to do business with a pro 2A company, like I said, look for your local ones, and like Moose said too. I mean, there are mortgage companies out there that are local little mom and pop shops they're not going to have the same politics as say one of the mega corporations. The same goes with your local small town banks too. You'll see, politically and whatnot, they're not going to hold the same values as what one of the national corporations may. So that's why we do with a small little local area credit union instead of one of the national chains. Plus, they're easier to get a hold of people if you need to. Bernie just jumped in out there. Evening, Bernie.
So it's a barbecue gun to use, Squib.
Yeah, that was a question we had earlier. What would be your barbecue gun, Squib?
Does it have to be one I own or one I'd like to own?
Either.
All right, I'd go with a Desert Eagle, preferably with a stainless or a chrome or brushed nickel, something silvery.
That's a good choice.
Oh, Snob's out there. Evening, Snob.
I like his answer.
I already know Snob would pick the Altor.
The glue gun?
Oh no, that's off the table because that's polymer. Remember, no polymer guns.
Just a grip.
Yes, that's just common sense. Don't get a plastic gun near a hot barbecue grill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how you do it with those. You throw them in the oven or stick them on the fire, and then, when they get soft, you grip them real tight. You got to have a mag in there, of course, and conforms to your hand.
All right. Now, here's a question. We'll send this around the room. Okay. Cosync firearms. They have a hybrid metal and polymer frame to them. Part of the frame is metal. The grip part of it's polymer. Would that be able to be classified as a barbecue gun in a 1911? Jason, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's okay. Polymer grips don't count. It's the frame that I'm concerned with.
All right, Rob, what do you think?
What brand was it again?
Cosent Arms.
I'd say no, not until they gave Midnight one.
Hey, they didn't give me one either. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, I've met the owner. He's a good guy. So
Yes,
yeah,
he is.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the guy sit in my living room. We talked about guns for like 3 hours. So, Squib, what do you think? Did we lose Squib? Yeah, maybe. T23 is getting butthurt again. He's like, who cares if someone prefers polymer over metal? Well, it's a barbecue gun. You're doing that to show off, man. It's not. You're not taking your everyday gun to a fancy barbecue. You want something that's like jewelry class firearm, man.
That's right. You're trying to show stuff off to people.
Yeah. Only women love black plastic.
Well, he thinks that Glock is like showing off. That's the problem with Glock guys.
Now, I hate to say this, but I will rise to his defense a little bit. My gun shop has some Glocks that have been like custom Cerakoted and stuff, and they're kind of could go barbecuey, man. They got like scroll work and skulls and pictures and stuff airbrushed all in them and stuff.
Oh, come on, Jason. Gucci Glocks are the worst Glocks.
Well, they're not all like gold barrels and stuff like that, but some of them. This one that's like black with gray. It's got like skulls and stuff in it. Man, that's not too bad. And of course, they also had one not too long ago that was like a distressed American flag. And that was like the prettiest Glock I ever saw right there. I mean, just because of the American flag. But I guess maybe you could squeeze in a Glock at a barbecue, I guess.
Uh-oh. You done offended Snob. He wants to know what's wrong with his gold barrel Glock. It's a Glock? No.
It's nothing wrong with it. It's just poor taste.
Uh-huh. I never got the point of the gold highlights on guns, to be perfectly honest with you. It's like Ricky got that gold highlighted Smith & Wesson Easy. If I were going to get the shit, what the hell do we call it? Performance Center model, like what he got, I would just got the plain black one.
Did they offer that in plain black? I thought it was just silver and gold.
No, they have it in black, silver, and gold.
Okay, I got called away to fix this was a dumb repair. Anyhow, St. Arms, I don't even know what the question was.
Would they qualify to be a barbecue gun?
I mean, it's a 1911, so I guess.
No.
I mean, they probably should have gave Midnight one, but whatever.
Well, I was supposed to get one for T&E purposes, and then COVID hit, and that kind of threw a monkey wrench into that. I got to get with.
Oh yeah, they should have gave you one too.
Yeah, I got to get with Greg eventually.
I heard part of it, and then I had to walk over here, so I walked right through a dead zone, and then it sounded like you guys were kind of talking about the 380 EZ Performance Center when you came back.
Yeah.
Nice little gun. Well, I'm going to go walk through another dead zone.
Now, Snob says he's poor and can't afford all the bread as like some people.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Snob apparently double typed the same comment a minute apart from each other.
And stuff happens if you have a weak cell phone signal sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, To be fair, if Snob wasn't always working on that new Dodge, it wouldn't be such a problem.
So there ain't no way he could type the same sentence twice and not misspell something.
Mhm.
Blame it on the Dodge.
He says his internet went to crap for a minute.
Damn
Just a
fine
minute.
car, Dodge.
Travis D says he has kids. What's a Beretta?
I tell you what, my newest one, I'm loving it, man. I'm setting it up for a competition gun. It's a bargain, man. I'm spent less on this one than I do most of them. It's coming together nicely, man. Those 92Xs, those are a bargain, man.
Snob says he don't work on the Dodge. You know, these new cars, I don't blame you. They'll give you enough room to work on the damn things.
No, they don't.
You know, it's bad when you got a 4-cylinder in your SUV and it takes up the whole engine bay.
It's bad when you've been a hot rodder and worked on cars your entire life, and you go to the new cars and just to get to something, you're unbolting and taking stuff off that you don't even have any idea what it is.
Yeah, that too. What the hell's this do?
Wires and vacuum hose. What is all this junk?
Where the hell did they put the goddamn oil filter on this piece of shit?
It's like when I had to jump my mom's car and she had a Chrysler, and I had the hardest time finding. I opened up the hood. It's like, where the hell's the battery on this thing?
Yeah.
So I got out the manual and looked. It was in behind the. It's inside the left rear wheel well.
The battery's in there, but to jump it, the posts are up in the next to the engine.
Oh, are they?
Yep, they're between the engine and the strut tower. There's a red plastic tab. You lift it up, and there's the positive, and yeah. So the battery is in the wheel well on some of them. I think it's the 300, and that's a stupid place to put it. It's just like on the Traverse and Acadia. You've got to pull the front clip or go through the wheel well to change out the headlights. I mean, there's some other things that are just really dumb.
Like that too, I believe.
Yeah,
My old lady had
a week before she went in for surgery, Amy went to go get a headlight. She's like, "Oh, I could change it myself in the Escape because I had the one headlight went." She said she's out there for 5 minutes trying to figure out how the hell to get to this thing. Finally, somebody from AutoZone came out and changed it for her. It's like, I told you it wasn't going to be as easy as you thought it was.
Yeah, my ex-old lady, man, had a Sebring, Dodge Sebring, Chrysler Sebring convertible thing. Battery for it was behind the front bumper. You had to pull the front bumper and the grill and everything off the car to change the battery in it.
Yeah, and the people that do it for a living have the tools and they have the experience. So pulling it off, they've done this 100 times. So it's a lot faster than you or I, who have never pulled the grill off of this particular car and probably never will a second time. And for that, sometimes it's just easier to just take it to the dealer and pay the money. But I mean, somebody bought a headlamp for their Acadia, and it was like $140 or something. And the dealership wanted another $150 to replace it. And they're like, "How much will you do it for?" And before I even figured, I'm like, $40. So they're like, "Yeah, because I can't return this part." So I was out there for hours trying to figure this. Finally, I went through the wheel well. I cut the shit out of my arm. It wasn't worth $40, but that's what I told her. So yeah, I'll never make that mistake again.
I stopped working on the cars when my wife got the 99 Lumina. At that point, it was like, you know what? I ain't even fucking with this thing.
some of it's not really that bad. It's your perspective. Like when I went to school for fuel injection and computer command and control, drivability, and all that other stuff, I started out on a fuel injected car, so I didn't know shit about carburetors. And everybody else there started out on a carburetor, so they just didn't understand this fuel injection. I go, what's so hard about it? Then we got to week 7, and it was like how to rebuild a carburetor. And there I am with a Quadrajet sitting there in front of me, and I'm lost. And everybody else is just taking it apart and putting the rebuild kit in there, and I'm just like, what? I think that with this younger generation, if they grow up with these newer cars, then they're going to be used to that, and then older cars are going to be harder for them to work on. I mean, I remember the first time I was at the shop, and I saw a car that had manual brakes, no vacuum assist at all, and I was like, wow, that's simple. You know, drums all the way around and no booster. That was weird.
Yeah. I knew somebody had one of those little Mitsubishi subcompacts that was that way. 4-wheel brake drums and no power assist or anything. God damn, that thing had to have been a bitch to stop. Remember when you could change the oil without even having to jack the car up off the ground?
Still can.
Yeah, still can with my truck.
Yeah, I do it on my truck every time.
I ain't even got to use a jack. What I do is I take a 2x10 and a 2x8 and put it in front of both front tires. I drive the car up onto it, apply the parking brake, and just slide underneath there. And, you know, drain oil, take out the filter. Let the car do all the work.
I'm talking about a car, not a truck, guys.
Yeah, I'm talking about a car. I'm talking about a car with low-profile directional tires that you can't squeeze underneath when it's sitting there. Simply 4 pieces of board, scrap wood, more or less, and I don't have to get out the jack. The jack stands down. I just put it in drive, inch up onto the boards, put it in park, parking brake on, good to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you about where you didn't even have to do that. Like with the old, my stepfather always had a Chevy Nova. He had a fascination with the late '60s Chevy Novas. You could get underneath that car and change the oil without having to raise the front end up off the ground, either using ramps like what you're talking about or jacking it up or anything. You just squeeze under there and change
well, you could, in that car, you could fit between the wheel well and the engine if you crawled inside. So, yeah.
I slid underneath a Nova once, Rich, to tighten up the torque converter and flex plate bolt. Flywheel's coming loose off the back of the motor, and I got up underneath there on the side of the road and tightened it best I could.
Yeah. We had an '84 the Sabre at one point, and you could squeeze underneath there and get change the oil without having to raise that thing up off the ground too. Now they got all that. The cars sit so goddamn low and have that damn front air dam on it. Christ, the used to be if you had the tires on the car still and the jack broke, the car could fall and it might bounce and hit you a little bit, but it wasn't going to crush you. With those goddamn front air dams, if that happens now, it's going to fucking cut you in half.
Yeah, you got to jack them up now just so you could look around and find where the oil filter is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on the truck, it's easy. Oil filter's in the top. It's like doing a water separator, and the drain plug is, you can just slide the pan right behind the back tire and right there.
Yeah, right through the driver's side wheel well on my truck for the oil filter.
Yeah, I used to do that with the Ram, that big honking Fleet Guard filter. But I had to be careful because there was a wire harness for the air conditioning compressor right there, and I'd about bump it with the wrench every single time.
Well, they've been gone for about 2 hours, and I am getting wore out. So I think we're going to call this one for tonight. So, Jason, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, good night. That's about it.
What about you, Rob?
Not much. Just have a great evening, everybody.
Gary?
Since it's not my show, I won't plug anything and just say thanks for having me on. Like, share, and subscribe to the Unloaded Media channel, and show Rich some love, man.
Yeah, I need more subs, man. Right. What about you, Squib?
No, just thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Thanks for fighting fatigue to do a show.
Oh man, I am so wore out. Honest to God, man. Her sleep is so messed up. Like I was like before you jumped in. If your wife's sleep is messed up, your sleep is messed up. So, because they want to get in and out of bed, and
Hey.
you sleep. They toss and turn all night, keep you awake, tossing and
Go
turning.
sleep in the other bedroom, man.
Don't have a guest room. Got one kid in one bedroom, another kid in the other bedroom.
Aren't the kids grown up? Throw them out.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rob?
I was just saying, poor baby. Imagine.
Let your lady get surgery and see how well you sleep afterwards.
Oh, my lady's had surgery a couple times, but she felt a lot worse than I did.
Oh, I'm not saying she doesn't feel worse than I do. It's just like trying to get sleep, though, is a pain in the ass.
That's what alcohol is for.
I can't drink because of my medications, dude. So, yeah. And she damn sure can't because I got her on painkillers.
That's the best time to drink.
I knew one of you was going to say it. Anyway. Well, a good night, folks, and we will catch you somewhere else during the week. Maybe not till Gary's show on Friday, because I should be able to make Friday's show, hopefully. I wasn't able to this week because I kind of passed out.
Chat nap?
Yeah. No, I fell asleep before the show. So,
Well, at least you can't blame my show for putting you to sleep.
nah, we were. I had just changed the sheets on the bed. I fell back on the bed, and next thing I know, I'm waking up. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Had that happen.
So, anyway, have a good night, folks, and we'll catch y'all later.
Give him the bird.